Hi everyone, welcome to stream today. We are going to be doing some coffee tasting. It is so great to see you all here. And what we're going to be doing today instead is we'll be doing a coffee tasting with our dear friend Caffeinated Linux. He is currently on a Discord call and he will be joining us for the next hour or so to taste some delicious coffees. They look like K-cups. I know, this is embarrassing. They look like K-cups, but they basically will take high-end coffees and they'll brew these little concentrates and then they ship them out to you frozen. You defrost them and then you can drink them after they've been heated appropriately. Now, James Hoffman partnered with Cometeer and he wanted to do this big coffee tasting. Basically, he had Cometeer make 3,000 kits or so, and people bought the kits and they all did this coffee tasting, presumably today. So basically, all this to say is that we are going to be tasting the exact same coffee that James Hoffman tasted today on his live stream. I do believe he recorded his live stream. I'm not going to pull it up yet. I'll just put it in our Discord and we can watch it later. But we will be tasting the coffee. I will share the screen with Caffeinated Linux soon. If you guys don't know, Caffeinated Linux is an awesome streamer and you guys should go check out his channel. I checked and I don't think he is streaming today, but he will stream again in the future. So I would like you guys to go check his channel out.
Messier than doing it with coffee grounds like I've done in previous coffee tastings.
Oh yeah, so have you done the cupping method where you fill these bowls with the coffee grounds and the water?
Yep, I've done that before. And then just to show off the mugs, I will switch this camera over.
I accidentally threw one of my pods away. I'm trying to keep them somewhat organized. This is my whole desk. My tiny desk is just covered in bowls of coffee right now. I have 8 bowls of coffee here. This is kind of ridiculous. Don't ask me why I did it this way. Oh yes. Speaking of slurps, have you practiced your slurp for this? Your James Hoffman slurp? Yeah.
No, but I have done it before. And I've got a cupping spoon. I actually got this one from Onyx Coffee Labs.
Wait, is it deep? Is it deeper than this? Because this is not a real cupping spoon. This is a flat spoon I found. What does yours look like?
It's like a deep spoon. Let me see if I can get that right in the camera.
Oh, it's like a little ladle. Ah, okay. Yep. Well, this will be challenging then.
On the back, it's got all heads have skulls.
Wait, why?
The skull is the logo
there?
For Onyx Coffee Lab.
Oh, it is. Welcome in. All right, we're gonna go ahead, and I'm gonna try to not spill coffee. It's weak.
Kind of sweet.
It is sweet. I'm getting green beans.
Green beans.
Getting some very strong green bean. It's like I don't want to bias you, but it tastes kind of like a green bean casserole.
Almost that first one was.
Hmm. Okay, so the equator one, it's a little more bitter, but it's also kind of buttery. Is it just me, or do they still feel a little bit kind of watery almost? Chug it. We'll chug it when I'm done. Okay, I will be I have to chug. Look at all this. I have to chug all of this by the end of stream today. Ooh. This one's weird.
Yeah, that one's different.
The black and white panda one is very weird. It tastes very fruity and almost like rotting fruit. I don't know if I love it. It's very weird. I'm gonna just write weird. Is that that's allowed, right?
Well, I think once you put it on the website, it might not let you do that, but that might be for the notes section.
So that's true. So actually, what we're going to both be doing after this off stream is we'll be inputting our results into James Hoffman's database, not a gateway drug. Are we talking about like coke, like cocaine? That's not what we're doing here, okay? Oh. Okay, so the equator coffee to me, it tastes like burnt toast slathered in butter. I'm getting baker's chocolate, sort of like Dutch cacao with some dust. It's very dry. It's like a dry wine. Sounds like your last relationship. Leb, I'm sorry your relationship was like dry wine. Okay, I'm putting dry. It is very dry. Like my okay, the mouthfeel that I'm getting from George Howell is very dry. I'm sorry, but it's true. They named it. They named it. It's not me. I'm just reading the name. Okay. There it is. Dry, dusty. Bitterness, definitely between a 3 and a 4. I think I like the panda the most. It's very weird. I think that's what I like. It has this really
black and
funky,
white.
Yeah. It has like a very funky, fruity taste. It tastes kind of, it actually reminds me of Kopi Luwak. Like the aroma. It has this like wild jungle taste. And it almost tastes like durian, but not quite. It tastes like the good parts of durian before it starts to get too weird. I like panda juice. Niall Holla, thanks for stopping by. Have a lovely evening. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your weekend. That way everything doesn't taste like old man. Okay. All right. These two coffees are very different. Very, very different. This one is like its own unique beast. I like it. It's very weird.
So the Clatch one is definitely fruity, almost like a berry. Cause I got chocolatey notes out of the George Howell one. The black and white, I can't pinpoint it.
Tastes like? It tastes like when you burn a clutch in a manual car. Magic Lord, welcome to stream. Okay, so have you guys who have driven manual cars, have you ever burnt your clutch and it gets like that really acrid, burnt smell that's just unmistakable? That is what Equator tastes like. If you, not initially, but after a few minutes of letting it sit on your tongue, it tastes like a burnt clutch. Also, the Equator one has some soap. So the softness and kind of the like buttery feel that I get when I initially drink it, it almost reminds me of some type of soap. Like if you've ever, so again, I've mentioned this before, but as a child, I would get my mouth washed out with soap. And so because of that, I feel like I have a really good palate for tasting soap. And this one is very soapy. I just can't untaste that. The Equator coffee, the aftertaste is very, very buttery, but it's also very bitter.
So that George Howell blend is like, he listed off a bunch of different South American countries.
Okay.
Ethiopia and Sumatra for C.
What?
That was the Equator.
Oh. I'm as surprised about the Ethiopian because I normally like Ethiopian coffees. I don't think
the Sumatran might have kind of come out a bit more on that one.
Yeah. So Sumatra, isn't that where Starbucks gets a lot? No, they get it from Indonesia. They use Robusta beans from Indonesia in most of their coffees, right? Correct me if I'm wrong. That's just my understanding.
I'm not sure about that. I've
okay.
not done research onto where Starbucks gets their coffee.
I thought it was either Indonesia. Oh yeah, go ahead. This is the good one.
So
this is the last one. I really like it because it's so funky. It really is kind of like drinking like a semi overripe tropical fruit. Oh, you don't trap. Well, I thought that
it's
maybe
Colombian.
before. It's also a Colombian. Oh. Is it processed in any certain way? Because it's very distinct.
A natural anaerobic processed coffee from Colombia. Okay.
Natural anaerobic. So basically what that means, so the natural process is when they just leave the coffee cherries out on a bed, right? And then as the sun is drying the coffee cherries, any of the tasting, like different flavors that could come from the cherry are sort of absorbed into the bean. But since it's anaerobic, do they then, I forget how they do this. So after they do the drying outside, do they then basically put all the cherries and the beans into these big like barrels basically that are sealed? Go for it.
Yeah, basically a fermentation process where the coffee is fermented in a pressurized sealed tanks deprived of oxygen. So that's what kind of got that funky flavor from it.
Yeah, so I forgot what is the dominant bacterial species. I'll look it up some other time, but there's some very specific, it actually depends because different locations in the world are going to have different wild bacteria that get into these vats. And they're going to be like, I don't know, lactic acid producing bacteria, I believe, because they're anaerobic. So they, the way their metabolism works results in a lot of lactic acid production, I think. Or maybe they consume lactic acid from other bacteria that are like aerobic at the surface. And then the anaerobic bacteria kind of consume their waste and thrive. And they make some other, basically the different metabolites they make can add weird flavors into the coffee beans. But yeah, this one, the anaerobic processed beans, this one tasted the most dramatic and like most interesting out of all of these coffees. Like you could go into a McDonald's or a Starbucks and you would never taste anything like this. It's so interesting.
Right. No, this is where you'd have to go to like a specialty roaster that does pour overs to get something that tastes like that.
Yeah, and then it's like what, a $6 pour over. You can do it for
Yep.
cheaper at home. That's why we make coffee at home, because it's cheaper. Sometimes you might be like me, you buy your really expensive beans, but then if you think about it, this is going to last me like 30 cups of coffee or so, maybe less, maybe more like 15. So it's like $2 per cup of coffee versus 6 or 7. I don't know how much coffee is out there in Illinois or no, Kansas, sorry. Is coffee expensive? For you guys?
Depending on the roaster. If I pick up a bag from a local roaster, let's say I go over to Hy-Vee, I can pick up coffee from PT's Coffee and get it for like $10 for the bag. If I'm ordering directly from the roaster, PT's Coffee or the roastery, that's going to get closer to like $15 for a bag. And if I go for like one of the more reserve level coffees from either of them, that's closer to like $30 for the bag of coffee. And
Yeah.
and before they stopped doing it, I loved going to the factory cafe at the roastery when they had pour overs. They've stopped doing them because it's extra effort and money for them to have that operating. But what I like doing is I would like getting a pour over of their current reserve coffee and taste that before I bought a $30 bag of it.
Right. And how much was the pour over when you purchased it already made? Because that's what's really expensive out here in California. Here it's about $6 to $7 depending on the place.
It's like $5 for the pour over, $5-6.
Okay, that's pretty.
Because
That's pretty good.
rather than, because it's also more of that time spent and effort spent doing a pour over versus just pulling a shot of espresso.
Right. So because the pour over, it generally takes a person about 5 minutes. Yes, the barista can make multiple pour overs at once, but then you have to time it. You have to wait for the flow through.
Yeah, it's more versus the espresso where the grinders are already dialed in. You know how much you're grinding into it and how much you're pulling for that shot, so that's already very well dialed in, much more so than a pour over would be for your barista.
Right. I do, yeah. I don't know. How have you been feeling? So I know you have a Chemex as well, I think. So I've been struggling a little bit with the Chemex. So I used to have a V60, which I kind of liked better. It just didn't sit on my cup very well, so I angrily got rid of it one day after I spilled a whole, like, basically it was full of hot water and coffee grounds, and it was balancing on my cup and I spilled it. So in my rage, I threw away my V60 because I was very angry that day. And instead I bought a Chemex. But I have been a little bit frustrated with the Chemex because I can't always get a consistent flow rate, even though I keep my grind size the same. And I do the same, like I use the same filter paper. I try not to swirl too much because I heard from a Lance Hedrick video that if you swirl too much, then the fines will settle to the bottom and then it can clog the filter and it'll slow down how fast the coffee goes through the filter paper. But it's not very consistent and it's kind of annoying. And I've been thinking about doing immersion brewing, where I take one of those V60s that has like a little plug and then you basically fill it. You know what I'm talking about, right?
Yeah, the V60 switch. I also have one of those.
Oh, how do you like it? I
really enjoy it, but then recently, after a certain point, it didn't want to stay. When I released it, it didn't want to fully release, or that flow rate was just so slow. So I went back to my normal V60.
Oh, that's weird. Is it because maybe you need to clean it? I've noticed my old V60, about a year into using it, the flow rate just drastically slowed down, and I was looking kind of inside, like where the liquid comes out, and I think that I hadn't been cleaning it very well, and there was like a buildup of like hard water deposits maybe.
I've cleaned it. I think it's just more so the kind of the rubber base for the switch. kind of expanded a bit so that the ball that's in there
Oh,
is when it releases, it's still kind of in there a
it's still
bit too far.
clogging. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So I feel like I should show what this looks like, but maybe do you have it? Do you have one available?
Um, I can
Or
run
is it in?
downstairs and grab it. Yeah, but as far as the whole cup thing with the V60, I have a French press that I use a cafetiere from that to just brew the V60 into, and then I pour into my cup.
Okay. This is
Because
just like,
normally,
is this a Hario V60 or which kind is
yes,
it?
Aereo V60.
Go get your toys. Come show us. We want to see.
Oh,
If you have
before I do
time.
that, cat.
All right. We'll look at oh my god, I forgot her name. Guys, chat. What is his cat's name again? Is it Lucy? Oh my god, I forgot. Anyways, so while he's getting that, I will show you guys my other alternative brewer that I use, the Chemex. The Chemex is a classic. It was developed back in the early, I think it was like the 40s or 50s, by a German inventor. Oh, cat is disappearing. It basically is a solid piece of glass, and it has this, it looks like an hourglass, and you put a piece of filter paper in it, and then you can put your coffee in it, and you can brew coffee that way. I'll show you. There she goes. Oh, you didn't catch the name? That's okay. I think it is Lucy. That seems right. Here we'll just like that. All right, so this is a Chemex. Basically one of the classic coffee makers. It's been around for a very long time. And you can see it has like this big hole here, and you just kind of balance a piece of filter paper in it, and then you pour your coffee grounds in, and it makes a nice little brew, and then you can just pour it out with this cute little spout, and you can brew like up to 4 cups of coffee with it. I would recommend doing 2, so I fill it to about this little nub. I call it the little nipple, and I brew my coffee up to about here, and then pour it out. But yeah, I've been having some difficulties with it. Lucy is your dog's name? Leb, I didn't know you had a dog. Oh my goodness. By the way, guys, if you have a dog, you should go ahead and put the picture of your dog in our Discord, which actually I can't reach my keyboard right now because it's like way over here. So, just do !Discord and post a picture of your pet. We'd love to see it. Cat is going to see where he went. Yeah, I think the cat's just waiting for him to come back. I really don't know what I'm going to do with all of this coffee. It's a lot. I also should mention I didn't eat today, and so I'm probably going to heat up a small snack before we proceed to our next part of the stream. So Caffeinated Linux needs, oh, here he comes. He's gonna have to pop off in a little bit, like very soon, like 5-ish minutes, and then we're gonna transition to our science talks for tonight. All right. So it looks like you also brought your Chemex.
So, just for reference, this is a regular ceramic V60.
And how much did that one cost? Just so that people who are interested get a price range, because we're not buying expensive stuff here.
The ceramic one was like $20 to $30 a couple years ago.
It still is about 20 to 30, I think. I think it's closer to 30 now. How about this one?
This is the switch. So this one, as you can see, there's the ball that's inside. It's like a little pinball type deal.
Okay.
And this is the switch.
The release. Okay.
So the problem I'm having with it is it's not pushing that ball up far enough to allow that flow rate down. And it has really extended my brew time, so I've not used it in a while because I've not really felt like troubleshooting it.
Now, with the extended brews, because I'm guessing that the immersion time is the same, but then when you're releasing the coffee, it just takes longer. Has it impacted the flavor? Because I heard that immersion brewing for a very long period of time, up to 10 minutes, actually makes the coffee taste better. in some cases, in many cases, I guess. And I was wondering if you had experienced that. Because I haven't tried that because I don't have one.
When I've done French press brews, usually it's about closer to 10 minutes before I'm pouring, just to give it time to let it settle before pouring, so you're not getting too much ground. So traditionally, that's what I've had. Of course, Chemex. So similar kind of pour over deal, filter up here, you pour it in, it's just one single unit. The reason why I don't use my Chemex much is because it's a single unit, so I'm always paranoid that I'm going to hit it on the side of the sink and suddenly it's going to shatter.
Oh, yes, that's scary. Very real fear.
So I don't use my Chemex much for that reason, but great brewer.
Very decorative.
If I'm wanting what
Office
tastes
steaming.
more like kind of a cleaner cup of coffee compared to, let's say, a V60, then I will brew a Chemex, but it's kind of rare that I do it because I do have the V60 as my daily coffee option.
So you use the little white ceramic one the most?
Yes. Yep.
Okay.
I was using the other one on a daily basis until I ran into that issue where it just wasn't pushing that bowl up far enough.
Okay. Okay.
So,
that's good to know if I decide to buy one. And then AeroPress. Yay, the AeroPress. Do you like your AeroPress? Do you use it often? I sort of abandoned mine for a little bit, but I'm thinking of going back.
Yeah, I don't use it much. I would like to use it a bit more. I have the pressure valve attachment for it.
Okay.
Not the official AeroPress one. The is it the fellow one? And what that allows me to do is, rather than run it in the inverted method, I just run it like a normal immersion brew, and then I can press down on it later.
Oh, because before, to keep it from leaking out so you could immersion brew, you would flip the whole unit.
Yep.
And then you'd flip it over again and then push it out. Okay, you know, I actually have not tried that. I didn't know that was an option.
I've ruined a scale by spilling coffee doing the inverted method before, so be warned.
Okay, I don't think I'm good at I think I'll just skip that. So where did you get the pressure valve?
I just ordered it. It's a fellow so they call it the was it the AeroPresso on that one.
Okay. Was it expensive?
It was like $30 for the 25 to $30 for the attachment.
Oh, okay. So already the AeroPress cost you probably about $45. That's what it usually runs for.
But I will to say this, the cost of the pressure attachment is cheaper than replacing a good scale.
Okay, so this is why I still my scale is stupidly small. I'm guessing you had what, like the is it the Luna or whatever that one is?
So previously I had the Hario scale.
How much was that?
Oh, that was like I that was a few years ago. I forget how much I spent on that. And then I looked at a replacement. So I got this Brewista Smart Scale, which looked a bit more water resistant.
Okay, that's good. That's good. It has like the nice covering, no gaps, yeah. Because if you spill liquid on here, how much was the Brewista? I'm guessing it was very expensive.
This was closer to like $80, so it was more expensive. It was more expensive than the Hario scale. Yeah,
an $80 scale. Oh my god. Okay, all right.
But that's still not like you go to the Lunas or whatever, and you're looking at $150, $200 scales. So $80. And this
he's saving money, guys. He's saving.
And this one is also supposed to be useful for certain modes for espresso, but this does not fit under my Cafe Robot's the legs.
This is
so
why
I actually had to buy a separate scale for that.
Okay.
I don't think I got that one, but
okay, but it's a small, cheap one, right? Maybe not cheap.
It's under $50. I know that much.
Under 50. All right. That's good. That's good. Yeah. I have thought about getting a more expensive scale that just has a bigger base, but then it would not be useful for my flare because the flare has a very narrow area, which is why I got this tiny guy. This is literally $12 off Amazon. It does time, it has a little timer built in. It has some modes that I haven't explored, but it works great. And I've actually spilled coffee in it a bunch of times. Well, not a lot of coffee, but like a little bit of coffee, and it still works. So I do like this a lot. I think I won't be upgrading my scale for a very long time because I'm very happy with this one. So going back to the coffee equipment, so you have the scale, which, okay, it's cool. It's cool. What kettle do you like to use?
So downstairs for my pour overs, I have a and it's actually in the video that I shared in the Discord. It is
Oh
the
yeah.
Fellow Stag EKG. It was a $150
Oh.
kettle,
Okay,
but
this is
it
where we
is
can. Mine was also 150. I think it was actually a little bit more. So the Fellow EKG, I wanted it for so long. Do you like it or do you have complaints with it?
I really enjoy it. It's been a very good scale or kettle for me. Previously, and this is what I keep upstairs for teas, is this Cuisinart scale or scale kettle. And it's just
The
got a
quiz
regular
scale.
spout, and it's got preset temperatures that are all in Fahrenheit.
Okay. And obviously the problem with that is that the spout is really wide. And if you watch the video in Discord of Neck making coffee, sorry to call Neck out. I hope you're not here watching this. But when Neck was making coffee, he was using a very big spout, and basically the water just sloshes out. It's really hard to get like a nice consistent pour. So I use a gooseneck kettle. And my gooseneck kettle has like this nice tiny thin spout. The way they design the spout, so actually I'm sure you've watched many videos about different gooseneck kettles and how the flow rate is affected. Whether or not the flow of water stays in a continuous stream, the higher up you get. And the importance for this is when you're making like a pour over, you want the stream to be controllable, but also like disturbing the grounds in such a way so that you're getting like nice turnover of grounds, but you're not like disrupting them and making gigantic pits. So it's like a gentle agitation. And before I got this kettle, I had a really cheap $30 gooseneck kettle from Amazon, and it worked great, but it broke. It lasted me 2 years, and I'm going to be honest with you, I actually liked that kettle more than this one. And the main reason for it is because, this kettle shuts off automatically when it gets to boiling temperature. So when I'm making my my espresso and I have like a little steam basket here, I want it to keep boiling like for a long time to really heat up my components that I'm like steaming on top, but it shuts off and I can't get it to keep going. And the old kettle, it would just keep boiling forever until it ran out of water. So I do like the old kettle, but this one is very aesthetic. So if you guys like really expensive aesthetic things, you know, here you go. Lumbar. I know. I don't think it's lumbar. Hang on. Maybe I can look it up on my phone. Laminar. Laminar flow. Yes. Thank you. It looks like Neck came back to you. Hi, Neck. We weren't talking about you at all. Okay, now I'm having too much caffeine. GDT, hello. Lumbar flow. That doesn't sound very good for your back. No. Definitely. That was a yoga move we were discussing. Oh, goodness. But yes, laminar flow. Different kettles will have different qualities of laminar flow, and people care about this in the niche coffee world. I would say it's not that important. Just get a gooseneck kettle if you're going to do pour overs because it's well worth the investment. Yeah, and that's about it. That's all I have to say about that. All right, Caffeinated Linux, I would want to respect your time because I see that it is 4:05, which I believe is 6 for you.
Yep, 6:05 here. Thank you so much for having me. This was a lot of fun, and I am going to be very caffeinated.
Yes. Okay. Also, Leb, can you please shout out Caffeinated Linux? So for those of you who haven't met I can't speak. If you have not met Caffeinated Linux before, or you haven't checked out his channel, please check him out. He's a wonderful person, wonderful streamer.
See you soon, guys. Thanks for being here. You guys rock. You're the best.
Coffee stream.
Thanks for being here. Let's do this. Round 2.
Hey there.
Are these other streamers?
Yeah. Tyler is going to
Yep.
raid all of us.
Oh, oops, hang on. Let's go back to that.
One of them, the one that was on the left, this is one of her mugs.
Oh. Oh, awesome. Okay. So anyways, Caffeinated Linux has done coffee tastings before. I hope you do more on your stream. Do some like, so he has this cool little manual coffee espresso maker. It's similar to the Flair, but completely different in many ways. And it's called the Cafe Robot. I don't know. What is it again?
Cafe Lot Robot. Yeah.
Cafe
I
Lot
don't
Robot.
do a lot of special brewing on streams just because that's a lot of extra effort and equipment. I do like doing the cuppings and these kinds of tastings because they're pretty simple and easy to clean up at the end.
Yeah. No, trust me. After stream, I have like this chaotic mess of like stuff from my Flair, like just grounds and things everywhere. It's a lot. Yep. So I totally get that. But anyways, guys, go check out Caffeinated Linux. Thank you so much for joining the stream today. It was great to have you. And we'll see you next time in chat. Yeah.